Welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's program, breaking down today's training camp practice, some of the best highlights, everything you need to know coming out of Texans training camp today. A wet and wild training camp for the Houston Texans down in H-Town. But before we get started, I want to do a updated position battles video. But for me to do that, I want to hear from you folks at home, all of my viewers of Texans Today. So before we get this video going, before you do anything, I need one favor and one favor only. If you do anything today, this is the one thing I need you to do. Go down in the comment section and let me know what position battle you're looking for at Texans training camp the most. The one that you are most intrigued by, the one position battle that you want to see at Texans training camp. I need to know what that is so I can make a video about it next week. Go down in the comment section. Give me one position battle that you want to see at Texans training camp. We start off, and probably the reason why a lot of you clicked into today's video, the insane catch by Noah Brown. I mean, this was making its rounds around X all over social media, and I'll have it for you right here. Courtesy of John M. Alexander on Twitter. Look at the toe tap. Look at the toe tap. Can we run it back one more time, Chip? Can we run that one back one more time? Look at this. Look at the toe tap here. Ugh, nasty. Absolutely disgusting. And CJ Stroud said it before. They have 5 wide receiver ones on this team. And I jokingly said on Twitter, you know, if Noah Brown was on the Cowboys right now, he'd be their wide receiver 1 without CeeDee Lamb. And I was only partially joking about that because Noah Brown has been lighting it up during training camp, and not the only receiver that's been lighting it up. Also, John Metchie has been balling out. If you want to see his highlight clip, go to my Twitter feed at Jeremy Chuggs. I retweeted it. He had an insane route in the red zone drills today. He's been balling out at camp. Was not at practice yesterday or a couple days ago. Was back at practice today. He looks fantastic so far. And CJ Stroud said, he's going to be a big part of this offense. He's going to surprise a lot of people. It looks to be that way early on in Texans training camp. Another little nugget from Texans training camp for you today. Nico Collins. I saw him working a lot against Kamari, Lassiter, rookie out of Georgia, the cornerback. And I just got to say, I absolutely love this. Got the better of the rookie in, quite a few reps between the two. Lassiter made a nice little interception in the red zone against him, but at the end of the day, I really think this is going to make Lassiter that much better. And we see Nico Collins, we see John Metchie, we see Noah Brown, all these guys working out. Lassiter's going to get a ton of work in training camp because this Texans wide receiver depth chart is the best in the NFL. I put it this way about a month ago. Wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 1. They're all wide receiver 1s. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, and Tank Dell. And hell, maybe you could even add John Metchie and Noah Brown to that because they have been looking the part of the best wide receiver group in the entire NFL. Do you agree with me? Do the Texans have the best wide receiver room in the NFL? I think this is a pretty easy answer, especially for a lot of Texans fans out there. It's easy for us to put on the blinders, but with all these guys balling out in camp and how good they look, I think it's clear the Texans have the number 1 receiving core in the entire league. Going from the wide receiver room, now let's swing over to the running back room. Dameon Pierce still looking really good. I mean, he had a couple runs today, a couple highlights that I saw where he was just a bowling ball going through the defense. He's still that great physical runner that we loved from him his rookie season, and which we'll get into in a minute why he's getting a lot of RB1 reps, but he's taken advantage of all the early reps at training camp, and he's looked really good, and the coaching staff and the other players, his teammates, have all noticed. And the reason why he's getting the RB1 reps is because Joe Mixon still out, was in street clothes today, dealing with that soft tissue injury. Obviously, we got this photo coming in from Ruben. You can follow him at 713 HOU Sports, but still in street clothes, out there in the rain, still at practice, obviously. Not a huge concern just yet, but your new running back, you'd love to have him in the system. You'd love to have him practicing with the squad, but as long as he's good to go week 1, then we'll be good to go. Speaking of week 1, have you gotten tickets yet to a Texans game, preseason, regular season? Well, if you haven't, no need to worry because I have the app for you. Our sponsor, Game Time, has you covered. This past year, my life has been like a movie. And I'm not talking, Deadpool versus Wolverine. I'm talking real life stuff. I've been doing a Adele show, a Drake show. I went to a Shane Gillis show. I went to a Dave Chappelle show as well, all using the Game Time app. Last minute tickets and flash deals. You can view the seat before you even buy it, and the lowest price guarantee. If you find a cheaper seat in the same row in the same section, they'll give you 110% of the difference. What's to lose with the Game Time app? Go check it out today. Find exclusive flash deals and sponsor deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Game Time guarantee means you'll always find the best price. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Now, sticking with the running back room a little bit, Jawar Jordan, we talked about, earlier this week, ESPN did a 53-man roster, and he was notably left off that roster. He was, cut from the squad in terms of the ESPN 53 roster projection, and he's been getting a lot of work, and he's been really fighting for that roster spot, doing a lot of stuff in special teams, trying to get, as active as he can during Texans training camp. So really interested to see if he's able to find his way on the roster. I've heard a lot of good things about Taylor, also Cam Akers in the room. Agumba Wale brings you a lot of special team stuff, and Brooks is just a massive human being at running back. So a lot of, interesting different ways the Texans can go about having this running back room go into the 2024 NFL season. But Jawar Jordan, the late round pick out of Louisville, will have to fight for his spot. Some more good news. Kaimi Fairbairn, I know he was injured for a little bit last year, looking really good at camp. Maybe got a little bit of the announcer's curse because everybody was saying, Kaimi looked amazing. He's, kicking all these long bombs, and then he went and missed a 38-yard field goal. But overall, he looked fantastic on a rainy day in Houston outside, which is exactly what you want to hear from your kicker. This coming from Cody Stutes on X. Kicker Kaimi Fairbairn is booming it. He was perfect in the drill and hit one from 57 and 62. And like I said, in, not the best conditions either. It was rainy, it was wet all day during Texans training camp. So good news right there for this Texans special teams unit. Another good news right here, Jalen Petrie. He's been looking really nice in the slot for this Texans team, working a ton more in the slot than he did last year. I think DeMeco Ryans notices, hey, we can't play Petrie on the back end. We really just can't do that. We can't have him be our center fielder. He's got to play up close to the line of scrimmage. He's got to play in the slot more where he feels more comfortable. This coming from Cole Thompson. #Texans. Jalen Petrie looks comfortable in the slot. Swing pass over to Tank Dell. And number 5 is right there to end the play for a loss. So we see, Jalen Petrie needing a bounce back year. I think utilizing him in this new role, in this kind of slot position, could be a, really beneficial thing for Petrie going into year 3. Now, the only downside to that is Kalen Bullock, the rookie out of USC, has been a little bit concerning to me. I've been watching a little bit more tape of him at USC and then at Texans training camp, and I just got to say it's a little worrisome how Bullock plays. He's really good. He's really, rangy safety, but, playing up press man, he's not very good off the line of scrimmage, and his tackling is a huge concern for me. If you watch some of the tape of him in college, his form, his ability to tackle, his, physicality whenever he goes in to make a tackle on the defensive side of the football, it's just not there where it needs to be. Obviously, DeMeco Ryans, a former linebacker in this league, a defensive mind. If anybody's going to able to get the, best side out of Kalen Bullock, I think it'll be DeMeco Ryans. But is he ready to go as a rookie if Jalen Petrie, moves positions and then it's him and Jimmy Ward on the back end? Are we really comfortable with Kalen Bullock getting a lot of those starting snaps on the back end? We've talked a lot about safety. We've talked about a lot about, free agent safeties who are still on the market. Do you think the Texans need to sign one of them, though? Let me know down in the comment section. Type S for sign, type P for pass. Let me know. Do you think the Texans need to go out and sign a safety? Lastly, one of the training camp notes that I really enjoyed watching was the pass rush. The Texans pass rush, it is legit. Too legit to quit. Will Anderson, Danielle Hunter, they look all the part of one of the best pass rush duos in the entire National Football League. DeMeco Autry obviously doing his thing on the inside. Foley Fudakasi, not really a pass rush guy, but looks, massive at camp. Should be able to eat up some blocks on the interior. So this pass rush looking very promising going into 2024. Lastly, DeMeco Ryan's press conference takeaways that I have for you today. Didn't talk to the media for a little bit today. Not a ton here, but at least wanted to tell you what our head coach had to say after practice today. Obviously, it was rainy outside today, not the best conditions. And he said today was just too sloppy. And he kind of referenced, I thought it was interesting, he referenced that game at MetLife against the New York Jets last season and kind of saying, we were sloppy back then in inclement weather. We're not looking good today. So it's a little bit of a point of concern for this coaching staff if this Texans team has to go play any games outdoors in inclement weather this season, which, playoff time. If we're playing up against the Baltimore Ravens, if we're playing up against the Kansas City Chiefs, they have outdoor stadiums. It'll be during the winter time. So hopefully this team can get right and be ready to play whenever it's not, 85 degrees and sunny outside. He also mentioned there was a little fight today at practice between rookie linebacker and Ben Skoranek. I believe it was Max Tooley who got into a little scuffle. He said, obviously coming from a point where he understands what's going on during these training camp practices, he said, I get it. There's frustration there. There's a lot of intensity. You're hitting each other each and every single day. But he also said, I don't promote the fighting. I don't love it necessarily. But he didn't. It was a weird half and half answer. He was like, I don't like it, but also I understand it, and I don't necessarily 100% condemn it. So he was kind of in the middle somewhere. So I like the tenacity, but I think DeMeco kind of as a coaching, head coach personnel guy, as a lot of you said in that fight video from the other day with Derek Stingley, it's okay to be a little bit chippy. It's okay to, rub shoulders a little bit, but you don't want to cost anybody any time. You don't want to get any injuries during training camp over a stupid fight. So I think that's where DeMeco was coming from when talking about the fight that happened today at practice. And then he also talked about the Hall of Fame game. We're less than a week away from Texans-Bears, the Hall of Fame game. Andre Johnson, the real one, the GOAT, going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he talked about, who might be featured in that game. I don't expect to see guys like Stephon Diggs, C.J. Stroud, Danielle Hunter, Laramie Tunsil. I don't expect any of these, high-profile guys to start, but he did say the game will feature a lot of young guys. So that made me wonder, like a Tank Dell. Could we see him in the game? I don't think Derek Stingley will play. I don't know if Tank Dell will. Juice Scruggs, the new starting center for the Texans, will he get some snaps for this game? Interesting to say the least, but we'll be live here on Texans Today for the Hall of Fame game. So don't forget to join us next Thursday night. We will be doing a live watch party here on the channel. I'm super pumped. We got a bunch of new producers here at Chat Sports. They're ready to take the reins, do a little practice run for this preseason matchup. For more Texans news and rumors updates, for more around the Houston Texans, you can always hit me up on Twitter at Jeremy Chuggs, or why don't you just go down and hit the sub button? We're trying to get to 16,000 subscribers here on the channel. And like I said, we got some fun stuff coming up. We have some watch parties for the preseason, possibly some more live shows once the regular season starts rolling around, so you don't want to miss it. So go down and hit that subscribe button or go to youtube.com/TexansTV.